closed mouths don't get fed. And what do I mean by that? It is true. Because one of the thing about me is I've closed my mouth for years. And that's the same reason why I don't get what I'm looking for. For a long time, I was someone who chose not to open up or bother asking for what I actually needed. I always came from a place of like assuming. I was just inconvincing people. I put far way too much energy into like guessing what other were thinking rather than simply asking directly and following up continuously, regardless of how long it took or whether I felt like a nuisance. My old belief system was highly restrictive. So if I asked someone a question once, and let's say they didn't reply, I assumed their silence was my final answer, and that was it. It didn't help me. Believing that didn't serve me in any way in life, and definitely has put me like steps back. Well, I believe this kind of mindset was formed in a vacuum. And look, I don't want to blame my mom or say it was her fault, but it was a result of like a deep childhood conditioning. But the reality is that this perspective was passed down by my mother. She would frequently assume the worst in daily situations. Like for example, if someone said they would arrive at 3:30 and it was 3:45 and they were late 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes, she would immediately conclude no one is arriving. Maybe they just don't want to show up. That's what goes through her mind in that situation. So growing up and witnessing that communication style, the way she guesses things, and how she puts into herself, that definitely has repeatedly imprinted the same assumptions into mine. Because of that conditioning period, I found myself stuck in a position where I was consistently like over generalized, overthought, under asked. But the biggest part for me was our old mentor. He said, anything you want is on anything you want is the other side of your ability to communicate. It took me a while to actually guess or see what he meant. It's simple, but because it's been conditioning in my mind, I don't see the core message. But what it essentially means is closed mouths don't get fed. You have to ask what you want in life. It perfectly reflects the biblical principle as well, from saying, seek and you shall find, or ask and you shall receive. But the TLDR is pretty much to speak up. Don't close your mouth. Ask for what you need, especially when it's hard to talk. Persist. Keep asking, even if you don't feel like bringing it up or feel like being annoying. But also ignore the internal friction in the brain, because the mental resistance and the random stories your brain creates to stop you from asking are the exact reasons why you must push forward through, and just do it anyway. So yeah.